Yeah, this is part two, Salakia. This is the book Christopher Columbus and the Participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese Discoveries by Dr. M.K. Serling, page 96. Top of the paragraph, it says, the learned Bishop of Quito was convinced that the Peruvians were of Jewish origin. The view of Roldan and of Gregorio Garcia that the aborigines of America were descendants of the Jews was maintained with many arguments in one and the same year in 1650, independently by the Englishman Thorogood and by the Portuguese Jew Manasseh ben Israel, a renowned rabbi of Amsterdam who induced Cromwell to allow the Jews to return to England. A Portuguese Marano, now keep in mind that word Marano, okay? It says, of Villaflor, who, strange to say, also called himself Montesinos and afterwards assumed the name Aaron Levi, informed Manasseh that he had mingled in South America with Jews of the 10 tribes. Okay? All right? So now let me get another book. This is the book Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism by John Henrik Clarke. This is actually one of my favorite books. Okay? It says right here, right. It says right here, this is some heat right here, man. It says in 1492, things happened other than the alleged discovery that was not a discovery at all. Let's deal with two African events that helped to set certain things in motion. In 1492, Spain was whitening up through the marriage of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand. I noticed that he said it was whitening up. They began now to expel the Moors, which is another way of saying Moreno or black, the Africans, which are dark-skinned people, and the Arabs, another, dark-skinned people. If they expelled the Jews, and they did, that means that they did not consider the Jews to be white, and they weren't, and they are not. Most of the Jews were Sephardic. The same descendants of these Sephardic Jews are second-class citizens in Israel right now. Though they are the majority of the population, not a single field officer in the Israeli army is a Sephardic, even though they are the majority in the army. That army is dominated by whites, and the same is true of the Russian army. You've got millions of Asians in Russia. I'm showing you the white face is white. Left or right, no matter what they say they believe, religious or political, they play the race game. You have over 30 million Muslims in Russia. Russia has declared itself an atheist nation. Christopher Columbus in this early voyage would set a Holocaust for hemispheres in motion. Okay? It says, jumping down to the third paragraph, it says, some of their descendants still live and are practicing both religions. The best known of their descendants is Fidel Castro. There's a good book on it published in France. There hasn't been an English translation about Fidel Castro and his family, tracing him back to the Maranos. He will go through the motions of being Catholic and now even playing that wise game. Okay, so now a Marano was a Jew that was converted to either Christianity or Catholicism, but was still keeping Judaism, in secrets. And they were the ones that were expelled from Spain, man. All right. Maranos were black, so-called black Jews, man. The real Jews. Before Esau started expelling them and taking his place, their place, man. Started pretending to be the Jews, man. You see? So Fidel Castro, all right, a Marano, okay. This here Montesinos, another Marano, all right, giving first-hand account of when he visited the Americas and saying, hey, these people right here, those are the lost tribes, man. You see? These are the tribes of the nation of Israel. The evidence is overwhelming, It's overwhelming. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Now, let me see. What else we got here? We got John. The book of John. Chapter 10. Verse 16, it says, "And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd." Right? That's talking about the Northern Kingdom Israelites, man. The so-called indigenous peoples of the Americas, man. So-called Native American Indians. South American Indians. So-called Latinos, so-called Hispanics. So-called Caribbean people. You see? Real quick. Psalms. And this has been hidden from our people, man. You see? But now we are coming to a remembrance of who we are. This is Psalms 83 and 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O Most High. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They that have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." We are the hidden ones. The so-called indigenous peoples of the Americas, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans. You are the hidden ones. You are the Israelites of the Bible. The children of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? It says, verse 4 says, "They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They have confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Selah." You see? And so these people, okay, have taken a crafty counsel, man. This has been hidden from us for a very long time. You see? But now it is coming to light. Let me see if I got anything to show here in these pictures. Okay. Let me see. They got one piece of info right here. The Negroes and the Jews. Negroes claim to be Jewish is legitimate. The land of Israel is located in Western Asia and the borders on North Africa. All of the native inhabitants of that region were non-white. When Spain expelled its Jews in 1492, which I just read, okay, many of them went to Africa. It seems probable that some of them were brought later to America as slaves. The spirituals never sing of African rivers. It's always the Jordan or the Red Sea. They don't sing about African chiefs or kings. It's David or Moses or some other Jewish character from the Bible. Okay? Now that she's saying that, you know, okay, let's take out the book right here called From Babylon to Timbuktu. And let's go to page, I believe it's 84 or 85. The book of From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. Okay. Let's see when it's published. I may not be able to tell you that because I got a 1970, 1988. I got a photocopied version of it, but nevertheless, Yeah, 1970 something. 1969, right? It says, page 84, second paragraph, it says, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son, Titus, put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. During the period of military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery, the slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. You see? So this info that this woman, this Lenora E. Burson is dishing out, all right, it's accurate, because it's the same thing that they did during that time, the same thing they did during this time when they were expelled. They ran to Africa to hide. Because why? Because they look the same as African peoples, but they are not the same. This is the Bible dictionary, the Zondervan's Bible dictionary, and this is the definition of Ham. It says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, the gene pusher, the granddaddy of them all, of the dark races, not the Negroes, you see? Not the so-called Negroes, not the so-called African Americans here in America, the ones that came from the western part of Africa during the transatlantic slave trade, which we see right here in this picture. Okay, not those people. Those people are the so-called are the Jews, are the real Jews. They're the Judites. They're the southern kingdom of the nation of Israel. You see? Okay, let me get a little bit more proof. Okay, a little bit more things that are hidden and that have been counseled over to hide who we are as a people. You see, this is a quote from Gamal Abdel Nasser, the second president of the United Arab Republic, formerly president of the Republic of Egypt. It says, and I quote, "The Europeans claiming to be Jews are nothing more than Hebrew-speaking Gentiles." The late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated on television, "You, the Jews, will never be able to live here in peace because you left here black but came back white. We cannot accept you." 1952, end quote. Because why? Because the real Jews, the real people of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are a people of color. The real nation of Israel are people of color. You see? And not only the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negro man, but also the so-called Indian man of the Americas. You see? Now, let me see if I can find a little bit more evidence. Here we go right here, another video clip. Listen up.
Where's the Jew? It's pottery on the ground. Look, it's all over. Look at this. They're ancient. Christ, he was right. The Indian was right. He said no one had been here before. I think you meant no white man, Mr. Costa. I think you meant no white man. He said no one had been here before. I think you meant no white man, Mr. Costa. I think you meant no white man. He said no one had been here before. I think you meant no white man, Mr. Costa. I think you meant no white man. He said no one had been here before. I think you meant no white man, Mr. Costa. I think you meant no white man.
He said that the Indian told him that no man has ever been there before. He said he meant no white man. He meant no white man, right? So, second Esdras, 13. 45. Wait a minute. And 42. And 41, Salakia. But they took this counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. You see? All right? And in that instance, at that time period, this is in the this movie is portraying the early 1900s with I forgot this guy's name, Percy something, a so-called what you call that dude? Esau calls himself discoverer or whatever. Okay, but yeah, man, more evidence. You see, all right. The Americas is that land where never mankind dwelt, but the Northern Kingdom did. And when Esau came, all right, he realized that, and so he worked effortlessly. Not effortlessly, but he worked with much effort to hide these things. You see? Let me see. What else we got? Let me see. Let me pull out some more some more out of these books. Okay? Now this is from a book called the Popol Vuh, which is supposed to be the Aztec Bible. Okay? Based upon all of their sacred writings, which they call the codices, all right, which the Spanish destroyed, all right, because it was showing too much evidence of who they were. Okay? And let me get a few passages to prove that. It says, I'm going to start off with this paragraph right here this is called the Popol Vuh. Okay? And it's been written a couple times. There's different versions of it, but really it's just the translation of the ancient writings of the Aztecs, which are also called the codices, and all of their writings that they had on all of their temples and their artifacts and their statues and vessels and all that, basically telling their origin story and all their religious beliefs and all that, which all of it connects to Israel and Hebrews. That's why all of these so-called historians and everything keep saying that these people are the Israelites, these people are the Hebrews, because the evidence is overwhelming. This is page 20. It says, the suppression of indigenous culture was far more difficult among the Maya, who did not have to rely on the spoken word to preserve their literal heritage. So what it's saying here, that it was a little harder to get the Mayas or the Aztecs, okay, which came after the Mayas, but all right, it's a little harder to get them to forget their traditions and stuff. Because why? Because they had it written down. Okay, it says more than 1,500 years prior to the Spanish conquest, the Maya developed a sophisticated hieroglyphic script capable of recording complex literary compositions, both on folded screen codices made of bark paper, as well as text incised on more durable stone or wood. You see? Now, let's go to the bottom of the paragraph. The last paragraph at the bottom of the page, it says, the Spanish conquest of the Maya region, okay? The Spanish conquest of the Maya region in the 16th century resulted in the abrupt destruction of indigenous political power as well as many of its cultural institutions. Christianity was formally established in Guatemala in 1534 under Bishop Francisco Moraquin, who sent out priests with portable altars. And I've seen that, man. I've seen these damn Catholic priests, man, and their portable altars, so they can go, they can collect money everywhere they go, man. But that's what people do. They walk up to these damn little mini cubicles. Little cubicles turn into altars, basically. You know what I'm saying? They kiss the damn priest's hand and they give the priest money, and the priest waves his hand left and right, up and down, and tells them to have a nice fucking day, man. Okay? It says, Shalakia, I had a little mint in my mouth. It says, portable altars to the various highland Maya towns and villages in an effort to baptize the indigenous population and to destroy any remnants of idolatry that they may find. And that's what, of course, there's a passage right here. I'm going to read it because I ain't afraid to read it. Because, again, the evidence is overwhelming. And like I read in the John 10 and 16, the Lord has a fold, all right, that when they hear his voice, man, they're going to come, they're going to know. So ultimately, this is for those who can receive it, man. If you can't get it and understand it, it's because the Lord is not calling you. Not calling you to it, man. You know? Okay? John 10 and 16, it says, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also must I bring, and they shall hear my voice. And there shall be one fold and one shepherd, man. Okay? All right? It says, right, he says that it's all devil stuff and stuff like that, you know, stuff of the devil. You'll see when I read it, but you know what I'm saying? Because it's the lie of these Edomites, these so-called white people, man. All right, they made it all look like it was they made themselves. The scripture said that 1 second. Yeah, this is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So this man has portrayed himself to be God. He has portrayed himself to be the Savior. He has portrayed himself to be the chosen people when he is not. When they are not. They are imposters. They are Edomites. They are the children of Esau, Edom. They are the ones who were born red all over like a hairy garment. They are the ones who have brought wickedness upon the earth in a mass scale, man. The scripture says in the book of Maccabees that when they came into power, man, that's when the evils were multiplied upon the earth, man. You see? This is the wicked of which the world has been handed into the hands. You see? All right? It says, they make us to look bad. That's why they label us with black, to make us seem negative and dark and evil. And they label themselves white. Prior to the 1700s, they weren't calling themselves white. They were calling themselves from whatever region of land they were from. Okay, it says, where was I at? It says ancient temples as well as the carved and painted images which they contained were systematically destroyed. You see that? It says systematically destroyed. There was a system. It was so let's say they brought a whole bunch of artifacts and writings and all that, and the priest would be like, well, let me read this. No, this is too fucking revealing. Burn this. Let me read this. This is interesting, but it's really not revealing much. And okay, but you know what? If it's a part of it, it's going to reveal it somehow one way or another. And the Lord had a plan the whole time, man. All right, for all this to come out eventually, because now, you know, and I'm little. I'm little, but look at all the evidence that I have just as one individual to bring out and show how the indigenous peoples of the Americas are the actual real true Israelites of the Bible, the Northern Kingdom, the 10 lost tribes, man. So really there was nothing they could do about it, but they tried the most they could. It says, were systematically destroyed. Their stones used to build Christian churches. Missionaries singled out hieroglyphic codices for destruction in an effort to protect the Indians from their former religious beliefs. See, they singled out certain codices. They're like, this one can make it, and this one's got to be burned. I wonder why. You see, where it says to protect them from their own religious beliefs so they can convert to Christianity. No, it was to hide the fact that those documents would have shown without a shot of a doubt, which these do too, if you can receive it, if you're of the fold, that without a shot of a doubt, the indigenous peoples of the Americas are the Israelites of the Bible. Okay? It says, Alonso de Zorita wrote that in 1540, he saw numerous such books in the Guatemala highlands which recorded their history for more than 800 years back and which were interpreted for me by very ancient Indians. It says, Fray Bartolomos de las Casas lamented that when found, such books were destroyed. And this is I got plenty of his books, man. And trust me, man, this man was convinced that we were the Israelites. All right? Because he saw it firsthand. Okay? It says, this is a quote from Las Casas. It says, these books were seen by our clergy, and even I saw part of those which were burned by the monks, apparently because they thought they might harm the Indians in matters concerning religion, since at that time they were at the beginning of their conversion. So of course, man, they didn't want to, because why? Because I bet you it was those books was more to keeping the law than Christianity and Catholicism could ever do. Because according to Christianity and Catholicism, the law is dead. But you still have to give tithes. You still got to keep the 10 Commandments. Look, they're all over the place, man. They're hypocrites. All right? They're being exposed for who they are. It says, one of the most zealous of these early missionaries was Fray Diego de Landa, who burned hundreds of ancient Maya books while serving as the bishop at Mani in northern Yucatan. It said, this is a quote from Landa. It says, we found a large number of books of these characters, as they contained nothing in which there were not to be seen superstition and lies of the devil. We burned them all, which they regretted to an amazing degree, and which caused them much affliction. You see, it says, of the numerous hieroglyphic books that once existed in the Maya lowlands, all that escaped the Spanish purges of the 16th century are 4 incomplete codices. One of those written in the highlands of Guatemala, not a single pre-Columbian codex is known to have survived. And I got 3 of those 4, man. All right, and I study this history all the time, man. All right, and the evidence is overwhelming. It's so much that I know I'm missing stuff that I wrote down, that I had noted in my mind, and that I wanted to bring out, because it's just so much. It's so much. It's so overwhelming. It's so much info. You know, it's overwhelming. It says, but these tragic acts of destruction did not mean that Maya literacy ended with the arrival of the Europeans. Soon after the Spanish conquest, literate members of the highland Maya nobility made a number of transcriptions of their pre-Columbian books, utilizing a modified Latin script in an effort to preserve what they could of their recorded history and culture before they could be destroyed or lost. All right, moving on, it says, where's the other one that said that right, I read it right here. This is another book, Back to the History of the Indies of New Spain by Fray Diego Duran. Okay, he wrote and said, where is he? Where you at? Okay, yeah, it says, few prehistoric pictorial codices survived since most were destroyed at the time of the conquest. You see? All right. So let me see what else I got. Bang. I got so much, man. The evidence is overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. You just can't get around it, man. You can't get around the evidence. This is a brief destruction of a brief account of the destruction of the Indies by Bartolomos de las Casas. All right, and it reads. It says. It says, but the mainland or continent distant from this island 250 miles and upwards extends itself above 10,000 miles in length near the seashore. which lands are some of them already discovered, and more may be found out in process of time, and such a multitude of people, inhabitants of these countries, that it seems as if the omnipotent God has assembled and convocated the major part of humankind for himself. You see? So, hey, man, what is that talking about right there? All right, let's go to the book of Hosea. And I got to go back to this. Yeah, come on. Let's go to Hosea, right? Hosea chapter 1 and verse 10, it says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. Then shall the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of it and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel." This is talking about the so-called Negro man and the so-called Latino, Hispanic, and Native American man today, man. These are the people, the great multitude of people. I just read one of these damn Edomites confess that it was as if the Lord himself saved the greatest multitude of people to himself in this land. You see? Let me get another one. Let me get another account of such a thing being said. You see, this is right. It says all of this is the history of the Indies of New Spain by Fray Diego Duran. Okay, it says right here. It says all of this is clearly fabulous and shows that the natives themselves are ignorant of their own origin and beginnings. You see? So when, hey man, when the time that Esau came here, man, a lot of the Northern Kingdom was already ignorant of who they really were, man. Too much time had passed, man. They was keeping the traditions. It's like they knew, but they you know, it was a falling away, man. They were keeping all these Assyrian customs mixed with the law, statutes, and commandments, man. That's why they still had the headdresses and all that, man. You see, it says inasmuch as they always profess to have come from strange lands, and I have found these things depicted in their painted manuscripts, where they portray great periods of hunger, thirst, and nakedness, with innumerable and other afflictions that they suffered until they reached this land and settled in it. All of these things confirm my suspicions that these natives are part of the 10 tribes of Israel that Salmanassar, king of Assyria, captured and took to Assyria in the time of Hosea, king of Israel, and in the time of Ezekias, king of Jerusalem, and can be read in the 4th book of the Kings, chapter 27. Here it is stated that Israel was taken, you see? And jumping down to page 5 in the second paragraph, it says, "The curious reader can find many other proofs in the scriptures in Deuteronomy chapters 4, chapter 28, and chapter 32, in Isaiah chapter 20, chapter 28, chapter it looks like 42, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Micah, and Zephaniah, which tell of the rigorous punishment that the Most High predicted would befall these 10 tribes because of their wickedness and evil doings and infamous idolatries, which made them stray from belief in the true God, from whom they had received so many benefits. In the places I have mentioned, it is told that in return for such ingratitude, God promised a scourge and severe punishment. And it must be noted that it was prophesied that these people would lose their lands, homes, and treasures, their jewels and precious stones, their wives and children, and they would be taken to foreign lands and be sold there, while others were to take possession of their estate. And now I got quoted here, I got it noted here, Sirach, 10 and 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this is what happened to our people. Our people, we were robbed of our land, we were robbed of our children, our precious things, of our heritage. We were robbed by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. We were robbed from our enemy. And this is the prophecy that was supposed to happen. This is the curses that the Lord put upon our people. One of the scriptures that was quoted here was Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 where I started off. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 40 9, it says, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of a fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. He shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and of the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kine, or flocks, or of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all the land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all the land which Yahweh thy power hath given thee. And he shall eat the fruit of thine own, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons, of thy daughters, which the Lord Yahweh have given thee in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee, man. So these are the curses that fell upon our people, man. And here goes some visual examples, man. Salakia. All right, here goes some so-called Native Americans, all right, Northern Kingdom Israelites, okay, all right, being overtaken by their enemies who came as swift as an eagle flieth. Who did that? Who did that but this white man? I got this coin here, all right, it shows the last emperor, okay, of the Aztec Empire, which I got that right here. I got a list, okay? I mean, hey, call Halam like Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know what I'm saying? Because the evidence is overwhelming, man. The Lord is almighty and powerful and true, man, and just, man. And soon, vengeance is going to be taken for us upon our enemies, man. You see? Okay, I got a book here, and it has the lineages, all right, of the Aztec emperors. Okay, let me see, where is it at? I know I got it here. You know, let me see. Bear with me now. Bear with me now. I know it's in this one particular book. I just don't exactly remember where. Here it is. Nope, wait a minute. One second. Baba Kushai. Okay, Khan, I found it. All right, I'm still in the book History of the Indies of New Spain. Okay, this is page 579, the Chronology of the Aztec Kings. And this is Cuauhtemoc, all right, which means descending eagle, from 1520 to 25. This was the last Aztec emperor, okay, which you see the eagle there above his shoulder, representing that he was being taken down by the eagle. Right? That directly connects to Deuteronomy 28, man. You see? Okay. Now back to the beginning of this book, in the first chapter here. All right. We read along. It says. Still on page 5, the ending paragraph, it says, "It seems to me that even without other explanations, we have here sufficient proof that these Indians descend from the Hebrews. On their migration during the long years of their journey, they were few in number, yet we have seen that they have multiplied like the sands of the sea. And after they had populated this vast world, God, tired of tolerating their abominations and evil doings and idolatries, so he brought alien people, like an eagle that comes from the end of the earth, and with no respect for the old or the young, for the children of the women, without mercy, and he destroyed them. They were kept in hunger and thirst, in nudity, and in perpetual exhaustion until they were humbled, cowed, and defeated." You see? And that shows that's what this man did. That's what Esau did. That's what that's what you see here in the pictures, man. Okay? Look at this. Indian land for sale. Get a home of your own. Easy payments. Perfect title. Possession within 30 days. Fine lands in the West. Irrigated, irrigable, grazing, agricultural, dry farming. This is the land that they stole from our people and sold it to each other. All right? And basically what's that word, man? Shared it amongst each other. Okay? Let me see. All right, this is a picture of one of the books here. All right? This is the other side of the coin. All right? All right, showing you the hey, man, this is Esau Edom. This represents him. More pictures. These are some of the pictures of the Colosseum, which I have. Okay? All right, another book. All right. Just more pictures, man. Okay, because I go into this history often. You know. Okay, this is a proof right here that they were what? Just like he said, that they were going to eat the flesh of their own kind under the siege. You got Jakes here cooking Jakes here, man. You see that? They're eating. This guy's eating a hand. He's holding the head in his hand. Okay. All right. You got the other Israelites here, other Northern Kingdom Jakes bringing gold tribute to the conquistadors. All right, getting everything taken from them. Okay. The pictures of Judah and Northern Kingdom here getting pulled apart by horses and then using it as gene brands, man. The Levi brand was based upon them stretching Israelites and having their limbs torn off by horses, man. Showing the durability of the gene, like saying you can stretch it, you can do whatever to it, and you won't rip it. Just like these Negroes and these Indians here. You gotta rip them with horses. They're so tough. You see? They make a mockery of our people, man. You see? Okay? It says, it says, among other misfortunes, God foretold for these people was that they would have cowardly, pusillanimous, and fearful hearts, so that they, who were many, nevertheless would flee from few. This was true and proved when the Marqués del Valle, Hernán Cortés, disembarked on these shores with only 300 men, half of whom were seafarers accustomed to work on ships, not trained in the art of war, yet they dared attack millions of Indians in this country. In this way, they were guided by the hand of the Supreme Lord. It was his divine will that the augurable of the sacred scriptures be fulfilled, and that 300 men overcame so many people, and that all those millions be possessed of such cowardly and frightened hearts that they would flee from the 300, man. And see, so this is over and over and over undeniable evidence, man, that prophecies have been fulfilled here. All of that, man. Okay, and I'm going to close it out with this last little paragraph, and I might make a third part You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too deep, too crazy right now. Too much info, okay? Because I want to translate this in Spanish. You know, I want to translate this in Spanish, and it's gonna take some effort. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, hey, you know, we gonna do it, man. You know, Lord willing. But yeah, I'm gonna read this last paragraph from this book, man. I'll probably close it out, you know, with right here and make a third. Because I think it's gonna lead to a third part. Okay, so this is page 9 of the history of the Indies of New Spain. Okay, it says a second paragraph, ending of the second paragraph. It says, therefore, I am convinced and wish to convince others that those who tell this account heard it from their ancestors, and these natives belong, in my opinion, to the lineage of the chosen people of God for whom he worked great marvels. And so the knowledge of the paintings of the things told in the Bible and its mysteries have passed from hand to hand, from father to son. The people assigned those events to this land, believing that they took place here, for they are ignorant of their own origins, man. You see? Okay? They are ignorant of their own origins, man. All right? And I'll close it out with this scripture right here, man. Okay? That says, this is Thessalonians. Second Thessalonians. Let me make sure it's the right one, because I know I'll be the thing be okay. Yeah. Second Thessalonians 2 and 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, man. And that man of sin is Esau Edom, the so-called Caucasian man, the self-proclaimed white man today, man. And that great falling away has happened to our people. And we have forgotten who we were. But now we are coming into a remembrance of ourselves. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai is using his men as instruments to bring this out, man. To bring it out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. Through his Holy Spirit. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, until the part 3, you know, Shalom.